before there even was a dawn. So pure, so bright, falling from the skies above into our darkened fate. The time has come, walking through this world we bear the secret of our lives. The light we share, caught in destiny we shine, for we are meant to be the star guardians. Gone in a flash before our time, up in the skies together. The vow we have made has kept us strong. Don't fade away, it's time to shine. Burning bright as we reach out for the same horizon. Burning brighter, we're running out of time, we're chasing the light. Gone in a flash before our time.
Welcome back to Snowball's OPL Top 5. Let's explore the fourth week of the OPL. Coming in at number 5, Mimic and Rogue combo the Avant bot lane, which results in a Baron for the Bombers.
Because he's forced to burn his own plans to get away from this one, but all of a sudden the rest of Bombers are going in, and they've cornered a couple members of Avant. It's Gunkrab who's going to get taken down, followed by Aladoric, and now Bombers on the offensive here as they've taken down the major threat. This should be Baron attempt.
Tarsica strikes again, Pyro, because, you know, we're just praising Gunkrab and Aladoric. Gunkrab flashed over the wall when he knew that Ryoma had both summoner spells up and available. That might have just cost them big time, because it looks like Baron is going to be picked up.
Charging into number 4, the Dire Wolves try to hunt the Chiefs down, but Raze bites back and grabs himself 2 kills and his team the Baron.
TPing in, they found themselves a numbers advantage in this fight, as it is a long way back into this for Claire, and he might get in too little, too late. Only Raze trying, though. They're getting a lot of damage out, and it's turned around. The Dire Wolves are routed by the Chiefs, and now with Only on the front, looking to cut Corporal down into a bunch of hamburgers.
That was such a nice team fight from Rage. You saw the Essence player come up. He got so much damage out as soon as that fight continued, just kiting back over his feathers like a master.
Coming in at number 3, Gravitas go head-to-head against Order, but in a choke point, they wipe Order to grab themselves the second Baron.
And now Praelis looking to go in as well, and the
Gonna get
Elise
close enough to the wall.
is going to have to flash it. In goes Harry again to finish the
Gets
job, and
it.
he does it! Culling comes out, Harry forced into his own clone, but Switch forward, and they're going to try to find the damage onto him here. Will it be enough? No follow through! Swiffer going to go down, and now Order is in massive trouble here. Dream going to flash that wall, but followed through by Dream.
Praelis?
Followed through by Praelis, I should say, gets the
Big
kill.
fear.
Shoot back up by Tally, but as big as that Urgot is, I don't know if he can 2v5. This is going to be the team wipe in favor of Gravitas.
And the first ace of the game comes out. GA is popped. Tally tries to buy a little bit more time, but that is exactly the team fight they needed. Ambitious picks there out of Spooks. The cleanse from Hayri gets him the chain, and everything falls to pieces.
Sprinting into number 2, Avant explodes into their stride when Gunkrab picks up a delayed quadra kill with Jinx.
He outright bought the Runaans after that last fight. The rocket comes through, no execution, but it will chase them away. And now Gunkrab and Aladoric on the top side.
Yeah, now
is
Shock
here
on the
too.
rotate.
He's going to flash forward, look for more, and it looks like they'll be able to shut down FBI. He tries to dash out of harm's way, but it's Gunkrab again, and he's going for more. The double kill for the Jinx.
And we mentioned how,
He's going down, or is he? I don't think so. Triple kill. You kidding me? He's still in this.
and Gunkrab is styling on FBI right now. FBI said that he was happy to get his first win over Gunkrab because famously, when he was on Tectonic, was able to pick up the victory there. But he's 1,000 gold shutdown, 7-2-1. Just got another turret, just got another 5 kills or something like that, 4 kills.
In the number 1 slot, worthy of being in a museum, Praetive has no vision, but his true shot barrage finds its mark and takes the Baron away from Chiefs.
Differ is how fast Chiefs can take this Baron. Oh, woo, Praetive, he steals that away. Oh, that was beautiful. And you look at his cam, he doesn't even change his expression.
I think that was a sly smirk that came out from him. Of course, Ray still has a bit of a cheeky grin on his. He knows that they don't necessarily need the Baron, but that would have truly sped this game up just a little bit more. So.
I'll give some serious brownie points to Praetive though for timing that very well.
And that's the OPL Top 5 for Week 4. For more OPL content, head to snowballesports.com.
So anyway, it's like a small wooden banana, and he can cut it up with like a small fake wooden. Hey, and welcome to day 2 of week 5 of Split 1 of the 2019 OPL. I'm Nick Boy Richardson, and I have no idea if we're live, if we're on, are we streaming, we're being trolled by the control room. But I'm here with my friends, and that's all that matters. How are you doing, boys?
Pretty bloody good, you know. Woke up this morning feeling nice and refreshed, had a bloody big sleep, and I'm prepped for a nice day.
How many hours you get?
I think I got a solid 8. That's like a solid round. That's a good amount of sleep.
Yeah, that's a lot of sleep.
Is it? Is that a lot? I feel like that's a pretty average amount.
got
For a
6.
parent, like,
Yeah.
absolutely 8 hours straight is a lot of sleep.
Yeah, okay,
I want to
fair
kill
enough.
you right now. Did you sleep in?
I did actually have a sleep in. So this is my
right.
guilty pleasure on Saturdays, is I get up at around 9:30 in the morning, which, you know, is a massive sleep in for me. Headed to the gym, got some pho, I don't know how to pronounce it,
Oh, please never say that again.
but it was delicious.
I think
so
it's
I'm
pronounced
happy.
poo. Right? Am I right? No?
No.
All right. Okay, well, we'll move on. Look, it was all a very nice morning, but then we had to come into work this afternoon. But it's lovely to be here with you guys. It's good to be here with the degenerates, as Bryce would call you in Twitch chat. And we're in for a lovely day of League of Legends action. Before we get to that, League of Legends is the new game.
Okay.
There was a big patch.
Cody Abbott OP in it.
Yeah, after the Frostmancy debacle, they were like, no, new game.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to be taking your League love song dedications. So
Nice.
this is,
Oh.
you guys send in on Twitter. You can do it in chat, but they tend to get buried in chat. So send them in on Twitter at OPL using the hashtag IMOPL. Take a song, an existing song, change the lyrics so that it's League related. Bada boom, bada bing. You probably win yourself a skin.
Yeah, okay.
I've got an example here.
Yep. Can't wait to hear it.
It's, what's the George Michael Whisper song?
Careless Whisper.
Careless Whisper.
Yeah.
This is Last Whisper by Tarek.
Okay.
I never want to tank again. My armor's got no meaning. There you go. Boom. Bada bing, bada boom. I get a skin, right? Hook me up.
That was so.
Yeah, that
Apart
was-
from the terrible singing that went with it,
No, I thought it was. He committed.
Thank you.
he
Bryce.
committed.
He committed.
Yeah, he certainly did something. But that is a good example of what we're looking for.
That is exactly what we're looking for.
Are you singing all of them? Are you singing
Jake's
all the
singing them. That's why he's on the couch for the whole
Jake is a big bloody singer. Jake,
So I am actually a singer, but generally not when strangers get. No, actually, that's not true.
No.
Generally, when it's not being recorded.
yeah, because like pre-riff rivals,
Oh
you were
my
just
goodness.
belting out bangers. We have the live crowd; they're just sitting there listening to Jake just
we-
belt out bangers all the time.
I mean, we're going to save this for a different show.
Okay.
But I think we should start a show where we just talk about musical theater.
I could do that.
Because I
I
do
could
that
not
as
do
well.
that.
Yeah.
No, Bryce,
No,
Bryce is
you're
too
banned
cool.
from that show.
Yeah, but that was my favorite part of Riff Rivals is in the theater we would just be belting out tunes.
Acoustics.
Well, how
Sorry,
can you
sorry.
not be in that theater and
Yeah.
not want to sing
How
in front of
can
the
you
crowd?
not? How can you not?
It's not my fault.
How can you not? Here's something else you can do. You can send in questions for the show at the Gmail account, asknickboy@gmail.com. That's the Nick Bag, I believe, is the tentative title. You can ask questions about literally anything, and
We'll
if
solve
is- We'll not only solve it, if it's semi-legible, we'll read it out. And so go ham. But, you know, put in some good ones because we want some good ones, some meaty discussions.
So, like,
It doesn't need
the
to be
thing
important
is,
stuff.
and this is where I have a problem with a lot of the submitted stuff.
Please.
If you're going to submit bad stuff,
Yeah.
it needs to be great bad stuff.
needs to be
I want-
creative
I
bad
want creative, terrible things, not like not like bottom brow humor.
Yeah,
I don't want no
absolutely.
wordplay. I don't want no smut or trash.
Yeah. Sorry,
Nothing
Pyro,
clever.
all
Nothing
your
clever.
emails are just going straight to the spam folder. We're not going to cut to Pyro? All right. Too real. We're going to move on with the schedule instead. Today, the games.
We have
thing
games?
that happens in between the singing. Direwolves versus Mammoth. Start us
Oh,
off.
Direwolves won that last time. That's their one win, isn't it?
I believe it was, yeah. And Mammoth are coming off their latest victory yesterday, which was good for their brains. The Chiefs versus Bombers. It's Legacy versus Order for game number 3, and rounding out the day, Avant Gaming versus Gravitas.
Yeah. Chiefs versus Bombers. Second game of the day. That is a big one.
That's a game.
Well, you would have called it Game of the Week before
I think it still
Mammoth
is.
ran over the top of the Chiefs yesterday.
I would still call it game of the week.
I would argue.
Game of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second game.
There you go. I mean, if we really thought it through, we probably would have put it last. Give people an excuse to sort of make it through the whole broadcast. But no, we didn't do that.
No, we're
Alrighty
just-
then.
Well, the thing
Heating
is that
up for the
Mammoth
gravy
needs to get
boys.
on a plane.
Yeah.
So do you guys. You're here all the time.
You know,
You're right.
It's the only flaw in an otherwise perfect plan. It's
All
just-
right. But we have a game first. Of course,
Yes,
if
we do.
you want to watch these games, you can head to os.lollyspots.com. You can get yourself Blue Essence. You can get yourself a emote. You can get yourself
The emote's the one on the bottom of the screen.
No, it's an icon.
I'm fairly certain the emote is the thing on the left.
That's Blue Essence.
That's Blue Essence.
That's definitely
No,
Blue
that's
Essence.
definitely an emote. And then there's something else you could get. I can't remember what I said, so I'll say them all again. Icons, Blue Essence, XP, and emotes. Get those quests done. The first game you can get those quests done on is Direwolves versus Mammoth,
Yes.
as we just teased. This is an exciting game because we're seeing Mammoth. Are they on the rise, or was that a positive blip in an otherwise unpositive run?
Nah, they're on the rise. This team is looking dangerous. Yesterday, they cleaned up the Chiefs pretty quickly, actually. Topoon had, in my opinion, the best game of the season. They're going into a Direwolves that have struggled to find form in recent weeks.
Certainly have their game yesterday. Never really got to play their composition against Gravitas. They had the hard force. The hard force never came. Whereas from the other side of Mammoth, like they were tweeting on social media stuff last night that they're feeling very happy. Babip, I think specifically, like they're finally coming together. The weight is off his shoulders and they feel like a sense of relief. It's not just like a victory, their first victory versus Legacy, but it's a victory over Chiefs. They have looked very dominant, so I feel like certainly are on the rise here today.
And I'm going to make another basketball analogy, right?
Please.
Because we love being in the nets here on the OPL.
I
And
put my pads on.
the Boston Celtics very recently were struggling. And, you know, Kyrie Irving came out and he said, I just feel like this team sometimes doesn't enjoy playing basketball. And then, like, literally James Harden responded to the tweet and he's just jacking up threes from everywhere in practice with like the biggest grin ever on his face. And James Harden at this point is like he's untouchable at the moment. He drops 40 every single night. And I feel like that's kind of my like narrative with Mammoth is they stopped enjoying the game.
Yeah.
They were playing this to win the split, but like you should enjoy winning the split. You should enjoy being on a superstar team. You should enjoy, you know, the expectations and try and live up to them, you know, for your team and for the fans. And I think that they kind of lost touch with that. And I talked to Triple and Babbitt before the show, and they were just laughing, having a good time. Like I'm much more confident now after seeing the boys in how they're going to perform today.
Yep, it's all about the love. And a reminder, you can send in those love song dedications. And please, let us know what song you're ripping off so Jake knows what
Yeah, so I have a beat.
Yeah.
I can't sing without a beat.
Can't sing without a
Although
beat.
I do all the time.
That's true. That's true.
you
Without a
beatboxing?
beat and without a tune. Huh?
You're beatboxing? I can't beatbox, so you're beatboxing, he's singing.
Oh, no, that's ASMR.
Oh, no.
Send in your questions to asknickboy@gmail.com. Before we throw it to the desk, we have to throw to Spice Tips
Hey!
to see what's happening today.
What do we got?
Oh, goodness
I am
gracious
a lone
me.
bomber.
Yes. So I thought yesterday, I was the only one who was going to tip Chiefs. And then as we were walking out the building, the other three guys here were like, oh no, I tipped Chiefs as well. I think they're easily going to win. And I went, oh, I wasn't alone. I thought it would be just me and it would be all Bombers, but
Well,
no, it's you.
Yeah, well, I mean, once again, these are done before yesterday's games play, but I still think, and I still maintain that I think Chiefs are a better team than Bombers right now currently. The loss to Mammoth yesterday, their draft, Volt said on social media that it was appalling.
Mimic, did you watch Jusong yesterday?
Yes, and
Oh.
I think if Chiefs get a solid game in, if it's like good performances from both teams,
Yeah.
I think Chiefs are slightly better. They have the edge.
3 solo kills. Jusong will solo kill Swiper 3 times today.
Okay,
You
yeah,
can
let's go.
count him
Let's
out.
go.
He
Let's
would-
go. There we go.
Jusong is in form. That man, Mimic, for those that don't know who Jusong is, an absolute monster. Like, as far as like, if you were going to 1v1 someone you do not want to get isolated in a side lane with,
Yes.
100% that man is like, and Spell Thieves, Swiper plays Karma.
Yeah.
I'll double it. He'll die 6 times.
All right,
Yeah,
well,
okay.
let's save this for before game number 2 because, of course, we have to do Mammoth versus Direwolves for game number 1, and we're going to throw it over to the desk. Rusty and Pyro.
Raju Nick Boy, we have got ourselves a nice little appetizer before that main course that will be Chiefs versus Bombers. But, Rusty, Mammoth, I think the most important thing to talk about is that they fully embrace their identity as Sith Lords.
Yeah, absolutely. They've chosen to be the heel, and of course, they could very well be that if Mammoth keeps their form and they start to improve further and further towards the playoffs and towards the gauntlet. They're in a position to just upset everyone and run the Cinderella story, you know, from 5th place in the gauntlet all the way through. And that is just terrifying, but there's so much of the OPL split left for them. And this is that second step for Mammoth because it's good to get the first victory. Spawn spoke about the emotional gain that they got from it. And that's absolutely valid. It's a big deal for them. But now they have to be consistent. They haven't been consistent yet at all in the OPL.
We need to see them start stringing things together, but they do have positive momentum at the moment, and the Direwolves are kind of the team where it all started, well, at least visibly going wrong, because they did lose games before they went up against the Direwolves, but this was where I think everyone realized that it was off the rails. Mammoth getting it back on track. They should be the favorites in this one, but we need to see them put it away cleanly.
I think it's fair to say that they started to fall off the rails at the AV game, and then they just continued to fall, but no one truly realized how far gone they were until they lost to the Direwolves in a very long, very extended game, and that's the important thing here. Direwolves with head-to-head. Direwolves are nothing if not consistent right now when they play on Summoner's Rift. They love slow League of Legends. They just want to get to those late game team fights. They'll take 3 Elder Dragons if you're going to give them 3 before they close out a game. Mammoth, they're not that style of team. They were drawn into that style. They weren't really sure where to go. No real direction for them. This time it feels like they have got that direction. They're being more fast-paced, and I think that really does throw disarray into the Wolves.
And, of course, the decisiveness of Mammoths should serve them well. We're into picking bans, of course. We should talk about that just a little bit. Couple of supports, couple mid laners, those types of things banned away. Lucian making a, once again, appearance in the ban column. We have a lot more of those crit-based AD carries coming in here on patch 9.3.
Yeah.
The Braum pickup for Corporal very quickly, so it continues to be a game of target destiny.
It definitely does, of course, with the Alistar banned away by Direwolves, Braum locked in, but there are plenty of picks there for Destiny. I think this is almost like a bait. Go ahead, pick your mage into the Braum, see how you go, because your mage isn't an engage tool, but I'd say Morgana can be. So anyway, we'll see where Mammoth choose to go here in response. They've banned the Yasuo away themselves with that Lissandra, so getting rid of some strong mid lane choices. Yasuo on the current patch is, I would say, overburdening. A little bit too strong in a couple of lanes, not just the one lane.
Yeah, that always bodes well for things when you can use the term Yasuo and overburdening in the same sentence. So we've got an Olaf locked in, and of course the Rakan also gets picked up for Destiny.
This is almost akin to where the Chiefs went yesterday on their red side draft. Second rotation, the support locked in. Rakan once again locked in. We haven't seen success on it yet, but obviously it was Mammoth that beat the Rakan, looking very clean. So we'll see if they can do something better than what the Chiefs were able to do against them.
Direwolves definitely wanting to get quickly their duo lane. It's a very safe pickup for Andrew in the form of Ezreal. That gets locked in.
Yeah, it's just a very safe bottom lane now locked by Direwolves. Ezreal Braum's a pretty good combo. You like to pair Ezreal with something that complements it to give a bit of extra lane priority, or the opposite. You play super weak side. So Tahm Kench and Braum are usually the two staples, as Urgot has managed to sneak his way through to the second rotation on blue side, and will be the third pick here for Bio.
We don't see that a whole lot, to be honest, but it does make it through with a lot of these other bands starting to come up in prominence. So with Urgot locked in for BioPanther, we get ourselves a good old 9.2 throwback matchup with the Scion locked in for Tapoon.
Just the most exciting matchup, isn't it? You just, Scion versus Urgot is just full of action. Just keep your eyes peeled.
It's kind of like watching a monster movie, man. It's just two big old ugly dudes going at each other.
Is it?
Yeah. Can't keep a Scion down. He comes back to life.
I would have said it's like watching paint dry.
Well, you know, it's like a long build-up of a monster movie. You wait till they both hit level 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're turning Super Saiyan. You just got to wait a few episodes.
Can you imagine like Urgot with like Super Saiyan hair? That'd be weird.
Yes, it would, Byra.
Actually, both of them are bald. I didn't even realize that. All right, back into the game. Yeah, Kindred's banned.
Yeah, Kindred taken away. A jungler going to be targeted here. And, of course, a ranged jungler with good support for the rest of the team. I'm not going to be surprised by the follow-up here from Direwolves either. Where there is Rakan, there is usually Xayah. And there may well be another AD carry as a point of focus. You go Ezreal, Braum. You may actually want to respect that they could go towards the Vayne again. Yep. That is worth considering. Vayne has a pretty okay time. You know, not having a bad time as a Vayne is a win against an Ezreal. The Braum is the only real spanner in the works. But they've got a Rakan to support.
You can see some of the priority coming in with these last couple of bans. Both those jungle picks, both jungles that can really kind of make Olaf's life a little bit difficult. Banned away from Udasov. See what he ends up picking, but I do want to see if it is another AD carry banned out. The Xayah makes a lot of sense considering the synergy with the Rakan. We might see the Vayne taken off, but instead it's triples LeBlanc.
So we're not going to be seeing any spell thieves in this game, you would expect. The only place left that can pick it is mid lane between triple and get back if they want to pull something wacky out. No Vayne ban does mean that it's up and available like we just highlighted, but of course the Kai'Sa is his other option. King is alternating between those two. But there's also other AD carries just everywhere. Really depends on what he's feeling.
A little bit of fun right at the end there. Switch over to the Kai'Sa last second. So that is the choice for King.
And that changes the dynamic of the composition as well. It's not going to be Vayne going in, doing her own thing. It's Kai'Sa actually coupling with the team. Sion and Rakan go into the back line, and King's able to follow through with the Kai'Sa now. So it's more of a, not front to back, but they switch the battlefield from back to front.
Yeah, so kind of like a different way to deathball it out. Now, Direwolves will lock in the Camille. Now, this is a champion that got nerfed on patch 9.3.
It absolutely was. Now, for those who don't know what the Camille changes were, she doesn't stun monsters anymore. That makes jungling hard. There's no other way to say it. You know, like, if you ask any jungler, how's it feel playing Camille now? Their response will be, don't even think about touching a Scuttle Crab. Because they just run away from you now and you can't stun them. So you just don't enjoy life, really, in the river. So you avoid the river now.
Curious choice then for Udasoft.
It definitely is, but it's the combo.
Yeah, no, that's true. They've gone for that old school combo, the Galio Camille, locking in to try and just force out good fights on Mammoth. And Mammoth will round out with a big old bursty mage for triple. Once again, he's on the Zoe.
And I would say that's a risky choice. There's no real maneuverability in the middle lane now. If the Camille ultimate connects, you are locked in that arena. Same thing goes for the Kai'Sa. And the Olaf, while he can't be CC'd, will still take an abundance of damage if he's stuck in that arena. And I mean, really, when I look at the Direwolves composition, this is a pretty stock standard 9.2 how you go and type comp. Mammoth, they've gone a bit more, I would say, modern. I don't know if modern's the correct word. There's a single patch of difference. The one
Contemporary. Let's go with that.
The one thing that has remained the same is the top lane, though. So while we've got that battle in the top lane of Sion versus Urgot, Triple's got his Zoe, King's got his carry pick that he likes. New 80 carry items, however, we'll have to see the build King's goes towards. And Destiny on the Rakan, second pick without Isaiah.
We will get to see that Rakan up close and personal as well. That is definitely not the correct team on the bottom side, but that's okay. It's the same team comp. So we do have that in the form of Mammoth. So you'll be able to watch Destiny in the POV stream over the course of this game.
That's a comp that the Chiefs could play, though.
It is kind of.
That feels like I'm looking at a Chiefs comp.
You know, funny enough, you could say almost the same thing about Direwolves with a good old combo, Camille Galio.
Yeah. Granted, it is Mammoth.
That's true.
Anyone's just tuning in. It's not the Chiefs.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a mix-up there, but that's okay.
That's the one on your screen.
But there we go. Now we've got it up. But we are also joined by the coach of the Direwolves. It is going to be Charlie. Welcome to the desk.
On.
Good. So the Direwolves, they've now, they've had a lot of close games, but they've not knocked a win since that last matchup against Mammoth way back in the first round robin. Is there cause for concern in the team right now, or do you feel like it's still just trust the process?
I think what's happened at the moment is we had those 4 matches, like back to back to back to back, that were all really close, right? We had the Mammoth game, the Chiefs game, the Bombers game, and the Order game. All of them look winnable. So internally, and I think from the public, it looked like we were making good progress, and it looked like we were on a very big upward trajectory. And I think that there were other factors that influenced those close games. I think the trajectory we're on at the moment is probably slower than what the matches indicated, but it's one that I'm still very comfortable with.
So with that in mind, do you think it is just something that you'll need to just kind of keep taking it game by game in order to get those wins, or do you actually need to make more changes?
I would say that as well as trying to improve at the game, we are still trying to improve at our systems, right? We have 5 new players. We're still learning how to coach 5 new players. And I think trusting the process is important, yeah, but also refining that process is important as well.
Absolutely. Now, as a coach, you would know how it feels to be able to play against a team like Mammoth. Of course, you were able to beat them last time, but is there something else that goes into a game like this? Even though you got that win over them, they're still Mammoth, and you're afraid that at any moment they could just turn on and it's super terrifying, or just confident in your own play as a team?
I think our last game versus Mammoth, it was a very sloppy game on both sides, I would say. I think that game could have gone either way, so we're not thinking we're better than them or anything because we beat them last time. I think Mammoth are a great team. I think they're full of good players, and I think it's going to be close.
Absolutely. And regarding the draft that we have in this game as well, I would say that you've gone for a tried and true type of composition, but Camille did see some nerfs in 9.3. So this is something that you would have had to have practiced this week, and you still think Camille's good?
Yeah, so with Camille, I think her clear's a bit worse, specifically around Scuttle Crab, because you don't stun it anymore. You do it a bit slowly. But I feel like when you put Galio with it, it kind of supplements some of Camille's weaknesses, because it means that Camille can actually push into this Olaf's jungle post 6, where Olaf would normally win those one-on-ones. Now it makes it Camille favored because Galio's in the game.
That's totally fair. Looking forward to seeing how the combo works out. Thank you for joining us, Charlie.
Cheers.
Andrew taking a little bit of poke early on. So King and Destiny kind of already asserting their dominance a little bit. And as you alluded to, Rusty, this is kind of what Mammoth overall have been wanting to do, is get out on the board a little faster, force the Direwolves to be on the back foot from the get-go.
Yeah, in a way, right? Like, Mammoth would love to play a lane kingdom and pressure game where they could just win from laning phase alone, you know, get small advantages, be good enough players that it doesn't matter what your opponents have. But I do actually want to just reiterate what Charlie just mentioned, the coach of Direwolves, of course, is that they can hit level 6 and they can still pressure. And I think that's where there is a contrast between these compositional strengths, you know? If you actually look at the champions of Mammoth, 3 of them don't have damage in their ults. You have an Olaf who, like, yeah, it's a bit of damage, right? But its CC reduction is the primary focus. Zoe ultimate, which enables damage but isn't damage, and Kai'Sa ult, which is a shield. It's not damage. You compare that to their opponents, the second they hit 6, Camille locks them in an arena, and while it doesn't do damage, Galio does. And he's going to be barreling through. And Ezreal, in comparison to Kai'Sa as well, has that utility from a global standpoint. So
that's a very good point.
When you're looking at these comps, I think one big thing that you could highlight is that as you hit the ultimates, Direwolves will start to be proactive. And Charlie mentioned they could go into the Olaf's jungle. I think that's a great idea, especially when hitting level 6 around, say, the 7-minute mark, the spawns of second blues and second reds, is a big point of focus.
We'll definitely set a timer for that point. And in the meantime, don't expect the Direwolves to go too far out of position before that happens. Babbitt, though, is in the top side here for Mammoth. But Tapoon's got this pushed up. BioPanther's going to have the wave shoved into him, and he's perfectly happy with that. Won't miss too many waves. He's got that dematerializer as well, and he's just freezing it.
Was also just on like an instant recall the second he got to that bush. So it felt like he was there more for the countermeasure than the gank itself. He's just going to go straight back to base, go for the Predator boots anyway. So it's still a good purchase for him. The tempo that he loses is very small. It does give an opportunity for Ubisoft, however, to start walking into the river, play some neutral vision down, but it doesn't mean he's going to get anything from it. And that's, you know, one of the advantages that an Olaf has over what is now a slower clear speed of the Camille is that you can actually afford to be a little bit more cheeky, you know, waste a bit of extra time hovering lanes and not lose any jungle priority.
Yeah, that's fair. But we've definitely seen this matchup quite a few times up in the top, so it's funny to get that little throwback because top lane was all over the place yesterday. We had our karmas and we had not karmas as well.
We had, yeah, one full day of weirdness. It's been wacky. It's still enabled for today as well. It wasn't patched in between days. That would be silly. So we may still see some Spell Thief, some Frostmancy top laners, but not in this one. We are the most stock standard, and I would say a large contributing factor to that is that neither of these champions were picked, or neither were banned, rather, and they're actually left open and available.
Yeah. Well, so many things changing kind of means that sometimes some of these other more consistent champions get not looked at. And Ubisoft is going to have to hookshot over that wall.
Yeah, loses all control of the river then if he uses the hookshot to disengage. He didn't have anyone nearby, no level 6 for mid, and Zoe did have the first move. You can see hovering in the top side river next to Babip. So lots of control through that area does mean Camille, once again, who doesn't like take scuttle crabs anymore, is even forced out of the area.
Yeah, that's just not fun if you're Ubisoft right now. So I'm still trying to make it work on that nerf to the champion in the form of not stunning monsters anymore. Now, in this early game, like I said, it should be a little bit quieter until we hit that level 6 point, but you can already see Mammoth are trying to invade jungle a little bit, get some vision down. There's an Infernal Dragon that spawned first on the map, so this is actually pretty valuable here.
And it's an Olaf as well, so if there was any jungler you'd want to start taking away that jungle camp, the big objective of the Infernal Dragon early, you would say that Olaf is one of the best suited to exactly that. There's some good damage in the mid lane. There are CS leads growing as well here, Pyra. A pretty significant one through mid. A slight advantage through the bottom lane as well. This adds up if you add into the account of a jungle difference as well. Like, while it doesn't look like a crazy amount of CS, that's extra gold from jungle camps. Like, pretty big deal here.
It's all about getting those little edges too, for sure. Get yourself into the mid game and you feel a little bit more confident to be able to make the plays together. And as you pointed out, Direwolves, they're going to be more about trying to make that big combo play between Camille and Galio, whereas Mammoth kind of, you know, definitely have a few options there.
Yeah, and here's the thing with that, right? My gripe with this style that they have chosen, I fully get where they've gone with it, is that it feels like a one-punch comp in that they have one opportunity. Because right now, Olaf will farm faster than Camille. They are controlling and they are winning lanes. So when Get Back and Ubisoft tag together, they get on the board, it has to be successful. If it's not, then that CS difference may grow. You know, like, this may just accelerate out of Direwolves' hands upwards of 1,000, maybe 2,000 gold just organically from farming, just from the lane assignments they have. as they've chosen for a compositional strength. So the play they make has to be good.
You're right. It's a risk to kind of lock all your eggs into that basket to make sure that you can execute it together. Now, that being said, I think the Direwolves have shown for a team that's only kind of recently come together. Yes, we're like into the middle of the split now, but a lot of them, kind of coming together for the first time. It's good to see how they've been able to actually coordinate so far, but it hasn't been perfect. They still have misses, and that kind of carries that inherent risk.
Oh, for sure. Like, that's all we're saying, right? There is a risk behind what they are doing. The risk could be exposed. It could be successful because it's tried, it's practice, it's what they wanted to pick. So that's what we're waiting to see. Because right now, we have got the level 6 point for one of the members, not the Camille. They're not looking for the Infernal just yet. Maybe scout it out, but as they check, it's gone. Too late.
Ooh, Andrew was close on that timing, though, but the smite was right. Babbitt picks up the Infernal Dragon. Mammoth will be pretty happy with the fact that they've gotten it. It doesn't mean as much early on because it's always going to be a percentage of your AD and AP, right? But later on in that game, I mean, you've got a Kaisa, you've got a Zoe. Those champions can both sting quite a lot without any assistance.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the scaling in this game is actually a point that you have to consider, and I would be very afraid if I was the Direwolves with the scaling of their opponents.
They played a 55-minute game against Mammoth last time, too.
They certainly did. That was one of the longer games.
Oh, boy, get back.
No Ignite for Triple. He's running to Cleanse. He wants to be safe in lane, but he's still winning lane without it. So we'll get that turret plating, and honestly, this is lane kingdom right now for Mammoth, and we're waiting for something to change. And I think we're just going to sit here until it does.
Well,
I'm just going to get gradually more and more miffed.
Udasoft just hits level 6. When do they pull that trigger, and where do they do it? That's the question.
Well, they've lost their opportunity for second rotation of blue, second rotation of red. Mid lane, we mentioned how good of an option it is. And with the CS differential that's now rapidly growing in mid lane, I feel like you'd want to go there. But I don't think they have enough damage to kill the Zoe. I genuinely wonder if a Merktread's Galio possesses the damage that they need to kill him.
Yeah, that does feel a little troubling right now.
You may just go bottom. You may just send 4 people down there, threaten Biopanther's teleport, which he does not have currently. He's running Ignite with the spellbook. But you may just make the play down here instead.
They might do. But Direwolves don't seem in a huge hurry at the moment. They have been known to play a little bit more slow, methodical League of Legends. Ooh, Tapoon is forced to ultimate away. Biopanther had him with the old shotgun knees.
A lot of control now forged through top lane. Biopanther, the one laner, doing exceptionally well. Bot just going even. And while he's not getting a big CS lead in top side, okay, never mind.
Okay, yeah, Brahma's gone, so King and Destiny just womboed in.
I think he just got caught on the recall. Ezreal taken down, easy as you'd like. Flash still available for him, so just Rakan combo with the crowd control, and there goes the first blood, and that gold lead is up to 2,000.
All of a sudden, Mammoth stacking it up. Here's our replay.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, that is a greedy back.
Oh, wow, yeah, just good combo, actually, from King going forwards. Destiny using him as a stepping stone, a leaping pad forwards. That was a very easy pickup for them. Recalling in a greedy position. There's no other way to explain that one.
Yeah, unfortunate move by Andrew there, netting Mammoth that first blood. So they have the gold lead, they have the dragon. It's starting to stack up, just compounding, and yep, Camille's asleep. Ooh!
Oh, they wanted that.
They
if
really
that
did.
Had connected, Ubisoft was flashing for his life. We're going to have another triple game where he hits a bubble, you run away.
Yeah. I suspect we'll see some Banshees and QSSs before this is all over.
We should. I hope we do.
Be a little troubling if we don't, actually. But yeah, Direwolves already kind of in some trouble here. And this is a team, that needs all they can get. They've had so many close calls of games. They've been able to pull, honestly, a lot of matches back that it seemed like they would have no chance. But they have been good at coming back, just not closing out.
I've always found that good with early leads as well, though. Like when a Direwolves actually get a bit of momentum and they have a win condition, they execute better on the fights that they're hunting for. So the concern here is that they didn't start on the right foot, or their best foot forward. So the opportunity's still there. They're not out of this game by any means, but it becomes a harder task. And with Mammoth starting to rise to form, this is one of the days where, honestly, you watch yesterday's OPL, if you're the Direwolves and you're like, my God, we have to play against that tomorrow? Like, why do we get the week that Mammoth show up and just start smacking the Chiefs around? Why do we play against that?
That's the luck of the draw sometimes, right? But, hey, if our assessment's right and that Mammoth is fueled by anger, then they might be out of it by now. If they're all happy, maybe they play worse.
I mean, Pyro, we're 12 minutes into the game, and I'm going to say that they're fine.
No, I think that assessment is probably a little bit faulty.
I'd rather be fueled by ramen anyway.
Fair enough. Or ice break.
You didn't get the reference, did you?
I missed it actually. I've heard that before, but I couldn't remember where.
It's okay. We'll focus on.
It's been a long week. Oh, Get Back is feeling it right now. This is
It's a Galio, by
hard.
the way. Everyone watching, that is definitely meant to be a tanky champion.
Yep. Babib even smacks him around with the Q as well, just coming in for a little extra good measure. So Triple has the run of this map at the moment. And surprise, surprise, he's going to go ahead and take the blue buff away.
He's got Smite here too, Triple, so should be able to lock that one down. There you go. No little cheeky steals. No one expects your mid laner to have Smite, so there was almost a moment where I thought Babib would take it accidentally, but he got it. No problem. Zudusoft now looking towards bottom. Galio returning from base, however, does have to deal with the middle wave first, so there's no chance for a play. If he does now, he won't have a Galio. He'd be looking for just a 3-man, and we're yet to see this combo in action. We're yet to even see the R buttons pressed.
You have to be going for it. If you pick this composition, you need to be able to actually do it. We're 13.5 minutes in. Turret plating is almost down. And we just haven't seen Direwolves be in a position where they can pull that trigger. Now, of course, the Mountain Dragon is going to get started up by Mammoth. They just have the better tempo this game. The Triple does get caught. Goes golden for just a second. And the turnaround coming in here from Mammoth. But will Destiny live through all of this? Corporal going to get knocked down by a quick paddle star of the Zoe, and even Destiny is limping away to freedom. The rest of the Wolfpack are looking to get cut down to size here. King with a chase down gets BioPanther just like that. It is 5-0 in kills.
It's just an absolute wash. 4 people dead in that fight. Andrew, the last one left standing, but what's an Ezreal meant to do to stop this tower from going down? They just clean house here. Mammoth absolutely dominant, and with all the low health bars they had at the end of that fight, just shows how good they are and how much finesse they were putting into the fight to secure it so cleanly.
And that was a fight that Direwolves picked. They could not get a single kill off of that. Really critical use of the stopwatches, but Mammoth managed to get the Dragon by enough time to turn the fight, and then they grabbed 2 towers. They're getting everything here.
Here's the thing. We'll most likely see it in the replay, but note that at the end of that fight, there is no Urgot ultimate used, and there is no Galio ultimate used. And they still go for this fight on their own terms. Walking into Taunt is okay. Walking into ult is much better because of the AoE zone control that you get for yourself. And through the rest of that fight, Mammoth, they just able to use their stopwatches perfectly, and they were executing on the team fight well. But to not have an Urgot ult used for the Fear in an AoE team fight, why pick Urgot in that situation is always a question. Throw it and hit a champion to slow them at least is what I would say.
Yeah, use the tools you picked, right?
And Galio needs to ult with the Camille because yes, the taunt's valuable, but Rakan gets a free engage off then to save the Zoe's life as she flashes out. Where at least you have an AoE zone of control where Rakan may get cancelled going through or not want to go at all.
Direwolves will try to get themselves the Rift Herald here, but it does start to kind of feel like a consolation prize. No answer actually from Mammoth, but they are kind of, a couple of them at least grouped around this mid lane to keep the pressure on at 15 minutes on the clock. Mammoth are in one of the more comfortable positions we've seen them in this split.
A little bit too comfortable.
Yeah, that's when things can start to turn around.
Nah, they're super far ahead.
Direwolves would need to make a big comeback now.
I don't like saying things like that 15 minutes in, but you are correct. We are so early into this game, and I just don't know how they get back in. Yet, I could say that any time when a team has a lead, and yesterday we saw Order almost do it against Avant, like it's entirely possible that comebacks are here. You just need to see those plays start happening. Some kind of proactivity needs to be there. And we've mentioned it time and again where that proactivity has to come from. We just need to see it succeed.
So Mammoth actually managed to do what the Direwolves could not pick up the Rift Herald themselves. Checking in a couple of items too, because we do see some of those buys coming in. On the Mammoth side, you know, it's going to certainly help that they've already got that redemption finished for Babib Solaf, so they could stay a little healthier in some of these fights.
Immediate summon of the
Very
Herald
quick
as well. Straight into the top lane. Top lane's just going to have a little flash dance around.
Yeah, I don't even think Shelly's going to need it. Well, I love
You know what?
I love that visual,
The
Miss,
point-
because every time it gets me. It's like, wait a minute, why are you charging that way?
The takeaway is that Shelly doesn't know what she's bloody doing. Walk in a straight line. Silver chair it.
There we go.
We got it.
All right. Gets one charge in. Gets taken down by Direwolves, but they've lost a significant amount of map control now with all of the outers down. This is going to be really hard for them to come back in.
I mean, that Herald wasn't even necessary. They got the top tower without it, so they'll get a second charge off, and it's a full health charge, I believe, as well. So it's still good in the end. But
Yeah.
it just shows the state of the map for them. They walk up to the outer, they take the outer. No one's going to try and stop them.
And they're in that position where they can really afford to kind of just do that without fear of any repercussions. The Direwolves can't really come at them, can't really get behind them as easily. Even with this Wombo combo, I mean, this is a team that has 2 teleports to the 1 that Mammoth has. They could have a 3rd if BioPanther swaps it out. But it's just about how they've been used and how they've not been used. Papoon actually still holding on to his. So they kind of are matched on teleports between the mid laner and the top.
We're getting to a point now, and you don't often see this for mid laners, especially when no one's running spell thieves, but that CS lead is just growing and growing, and we may see the flame horizon almost from it was 50 CS in laning
Yeah,
alone.
you're right. That could happen this game for sure.
It's possible that we see a 100 CS gap between mid laners.
But do you think that this just kind of shows... Oh, as the blue buff gets picked up by Triple, he cleanses away, and into the X-Tech ultimatum goes Udasoft, but he is cut down to size before the combo can even complete here. Direwolves determined to make something out of this, but it might be their own death, or maybe they're going to grab at least one, looking for Babip as well. They will fire him down. It's BioPanther and Andrew comboing up, but the remaining members of Mammoth are still standing strong, looking to chase down more kills. 3 for 2 trade.
Yeah, they get 2 kills, Direwolves. While it's not a positive trade in a deficit, that's a trade you take.
They still got something out of it, and that's more than we could say before that.
Exactly. They get trades, they get kills, and that's a victory for them in the end, though it doesn't feel like it. You'll see the makings of the combo here, but the Galio-Camille combo is being wildly unsuccessful. How forced and how far they go to put this on. Udasoft dies before the Galio can even get in. Everyone just disengages from the circle where Galio plants himself. But BioPanther's here, Andrew's here. They're putting down good damage, and they'll lock down the kills. Shut down gold as well. So that's big influxes of gold into their pockets. Of course, momentum still belongs to Mammoth, but that's something.
True. And you can see that Direwolves are determined to make this combo work. The problem is the execution just, it hasn't been necessarily the right time, and they haven't been able to pull it off the right way. And I wonder if maybe this just isn't the right way to go about playing on patch 9.3 anymore.
I think there is no faulting Direwolves for their draft. I don't want to, like, specifically for the Camille Galio in terms of getting the combo. You know, like, their justification for it was sound. I wouldn't personally do this, but each team has their own opinions anyway, and that's just the way it is.
That's fair.
Like, I don't think Camilla's a jungler anymore. I think that Scuttle Crab control is too valuable. But again, that's just how I see it. Maybe I also just want to actively avoid being depressed in the attempt of taking Scuttle Crabs.
I think that's always a good thing to do.
It's just so rough. There are not many champions where it feels good to take Scuttle.
Well, Scuttle's just very annoying. Just kind of moves just beyond your range sometimes when you're not expecting it. It does that weird little dash. Like, that is a fast crab.
The amount of skill shots he dodges, dude.
I know, right? It's crazy.
The fanciest footwork in the game.
Got like 6 feet under there. However many legs a crab has. Specifically a scuttle crab.
I don't know.
That's one of those questions that I feel like somebody has a definite answer to, but I don't.
It's like, you know, Kled's mount, Skarl.
Skarl, yeah.
Is a race of species that people just don't know as well.
I mean, he's some kind of lizard.
It's a Dracolops.
Yeah, there you go.
Not a lizard.
Well, isn't that a subspecies of
It's a Dracolops.
lizard? Dracolops, okay. Today I learned.
And it's a coward.
The cowardly lizard. Cowardly Dracolops.
That's better.
Yeah. That is a lot of syllables, by the way. Oh, hold on. Triple.
Oh, well, yeah.
Good dodge. Away. Corporal looking for somebody. They're going to find the Olaf. Oh, he deletes Udasoft. The combo comes in late again, and he's going to flash and run himself away. Direwolves still looking for a pick here, but not able to find it.
No.
They're getting picked themselves. Triple on the front line. He's real scary
That's
right about
one.
now. He picks up one.
Oh,
looking
no.
for 2. There's the bubble. This is trouble. The double going in for Triple.
And Triple's just on the Zoe running a rampage right now. He's just tearing through Direwolves. He's tearing through every team he plays against when he gets this champion. Just so terrifying to play against. And they'll get the Baron. 2 Mountain Dragons makes it incredibly quick. No one can stop Mammoth right now.
Not at all. And Triple is an absolute monster at this point. I wonder if this is where you start thinking, maybe we should ban that away from him.
He's 4 levels ahead of Ubisoft here, right? They
Ubisoft's picking his
changed
fight.
targets to Barbip, and just Zoe insta-Qs him as an axe comes out, dead. Good flash here as well as the Guardian coming through. Gets him in the redemption and the heal and keeps him alive. And Direwolves from this point, you knew that Get Back was going to die. There's a flash to steal there as well, so maybe even could have kept going Triple if he moved himself around the flash. Gets it in the end on the way back, but 2 kills, 2 very clean kills, and they're going again.
Yep, Destiny does get caught out, but the rest of the team is there to respond. Ubisoft is forced to defensively burn his flash. He's in trouble. The whole team is in trouble at this point as Mammoth just running around wherever they damn well please.
And when it's always fed, you cannot fight in the jungle. There is no good reason to be fighting in the jungle area where she has walls, where she has terrain to put the bubbles through. You know, so Direwolves, they look for a pick and that's fine, but the second that it doesn't work, run. And that's what they do, and it's a good disengage from Direwolves. With still control, and Baron still belonging to Mammoth means that this turret will drop.
But Mammoth have also been really great at doing those resets because Direwolves have been the ones who've been picking these fights initially, or just trying to get like a numbers advantage somewhere, and then without fail, Mammoth have just been able to turn this around over and over and over again. They have massive item and level advantages, of course, but they're just great at slipping out of Direwolves' grasp, and this time they take the fight. They will chew up and spit out King. Or excuse me, Andrew and Corporal very quickly on that. Babbitt going even further looking for Biopanther, but they don't even need him here as they've got a Minion Wave, Baron empowered, no inhibitor, and it is on to the Nexus already.
It's just a massacre on Summoner's Rift right now. Mammoth pushing towards finish. The bubble goes on. They'll probably take the fight here as well. They don't care that the Nexus turrets are there. They will find a way to brute force the victory in this.
And they're looking for it right now. King is going to go gold. Nudisoft changing his targets, but he's going to get popped down anyways. Get back. Biopanther, the last one standing. Destiny will fall, but so will the Wolfpack's Nexus, and Mammoth flexing their muscles.
Some defiance at the end there from the Direwolves. They do fight to the bitter end, but it was still the end for them.
Yeah, it was pretty bitter, I think, at the end of it. Direwolves did not seem to have a whole lot of chances in that one. In Mammoth, I mean, you can forget that losing streak that they had a couple weeks back because that was clean.
That was definitely clean, and a 2-0 week in the end for Mammoth is the big takeaway here. Direwolves being 0-2 is not good for them, but the redemption story is here for the self-proclaimed Sith Lords now. Well, I guess not self-proclaimed. We said, do you want to be? And they said yes.
I mean,
so
it makes sense, right? Because like we're in the middle of the split. It's Empire at this point. You know, the Jedi just got completely wrecked, at least a few of them.
It's I don't know.
I'm stringing my metaphors here, but I think it counts.
You are. All that we need to say is if you're a team above Mammoth in the standings, the reason that you would call them the heel is they're covered for you. You know, like that was a statement game on top of a statement game that they made yesterday against the Chiefs. It's a 2-0 weekend. They are a terrifying team to play and very hard to tip because you don't know what was going to show up until this week, and now we've got consistency.
Absolutely, and as long as the good Mammoth keeps on showing up, I think we're going to see more and more of these types of games, and it'll be really spicy when it gets to those top-of-the-table clashes and see where Mammoth actually do shake out.
Absolutely, I'm very excited to see their rematch against teams like Bombers as well for Mammoth, see where they're able to go. Maybe they get the redemption against AV as well. It's a scary prospect for every team against them.
Certainly is. All right, back over to the couch to break down that clean victory for Mammoth.
All right, we were talking before the game that it's important to just have fun when you play League of Legends. I feel like at least 5 people on that screen were having fun over the last 25 minutes.
I think Biopanther probably had a little bit of fun as well.
5 and a half.
Walk around like.
Yeah, okay.
Playing got into a pure tank. That's a fun time, I think.
He got to ulti him once, and then Top Boon went woohoo the other way on Sion.
Yeah,
So
that's not a bad matchup. So maybe 6.
yeah, okay.
Definitely the other 4 members did not have fun.
That was not it. You know, we went back to the old school Camille Galio. Now the Camille has been nerfed. Galio has been nerfed. Both of those things have dropped down in priority for a lot of teams. There are still pockets of people that still do play them, but that just didn't work out. You know, it was like the blind Galio got Zoe'd, which is okay, but they just never got to pull the trigger on their buttons. Every time Ubisoft went in, there was some kind of disconnect, like he's dying because he doesn't have a stopwatch left over before Get Back arrives. Like they couldn't set up a play until much later on in the game where they wanted to, and comp never came online.
Because the thing is like, yeah, sure, they fell behind early game. That's happened multiple times, but they couldn't even get it rolling in the mid game when you should be able to get it rolling. Because Camille Galio is one of those comps that even if you're behind, you still get to pick like one time when you get to fight. Like you just draw an artificial ward line somewhere, like you sack a wave, you get like 2 pinks down, and you're like, if they come into this area, we're just going to launch at them and pray.
If Camille Gallio wants to fight,
They can fight.
there's not much you can do about it.
But the
right?
problem was is that they still couldn't get on the same page, and that's what's a little bit disappointing. I would have liked to see them execute it like well once, even if they lost, just so they could be like, okay, this is what the comp was supposed to do. We still found out. But what a good team does, and this is kind of what Avant was doing to Order yesterday, and now what Mammoth did to this team is like they said, we're just not going to let you play around your windows. We're going to force the tempo.
Yep.
We have like more options than you at this stage of the game. Let's go. And they've just won back-to-back sub 25-minute victories, and that's 2 shellackins in the spawn book. And you know, only thing better than 1 shellacken? 2 shellacken.
2 shellackins. What
So-
about 3? What about 4? That's
Can't have that in one weekend, but they should be very, very stoked, I think, as a Mammoth organisation that it's now coming together.
because there's also some other interesting stuff. We have seen Rakan Priority just go through the floor, but now this is 2 days in a row. Destiny, of course, picking it up in this game.
He's a good Rakan player. though.
Yes, he is, has always been. Like, the Xayah was respected. It ended up being paired with a Kai'Sa. But when you have a Rakan, when you have a Sion to go in, like, King is just open up to be diving the backline. And you saw what they can do. Like, there was a very nice... It was a 2v1, but, like, King lands the W in lane onto Andrew, like, zooms onto the Ezreal, and, like, Destiny, like, Flash E's getting into the play there. And, like, Mammoth are a team that... Previously, like, Destiny has been targeted, but he's been happy to take the Alistar, take the Rakan, and force things. And they're a team that is now looking good being able to force things.
Because that's what I was going to say. What you have to understand about Nerfs, right, is if, like, Destiny is in his best, in my opinion, we'll get to hear from him soon, an engaged support player. So that means that he wants to play things like Alistar and things like Rakan. And Alistar is such, like, a contested pick at the moment. You're not going to get it all that much. So if Rakan was, like, an 8 out of 10, right? You know, you could say his lane wasn't as good as it used to be, but he was an 8, like he was an 8 out of 10. Then he got nerfed, and now he's a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
The thing is Destiny's still going to play him to a 6, right? And if that is the best engage option you have available, like, you should still take it. Like, you would probably, if you were still playing the game, you would still be playing Rakan.
Because it's also, we've now seen it into Braum, right? And that, like, Braum isn't realistically going to bull you around the lane matchup. Like, stylistically can be okay, but, like, it's not a super difficult lane, right?
Things
That's
like
where it is being
Tom
picked.
Kench, things like Braum, like, you can pick it into that. Like,
People are blinding those.
yeah, if you pick Thresh, if you pick it into Thresh, I'm like, you've probably got a Death Wish. Like, he's
That's a
gonna kill
bold
you at
move.
some point. But like into those negative matchups, like, he's a great engage player. He should play engage.
A good player is a good player is a good player, and that good player is at the desk with Pyro.
Destiny to win some games. Yeah, you guys now stacked up 3 in a row, and it's been a very impressive week with 2-0. You've now kind of like reversed your fortunes from the first time you've matched up against the Direwolves. In fact, I think your 2 games were less game time than that one. So how does it feel now finally being able to notch 2 in a week?
Honestly, it feels really good. Like, we obviously had a very disappointing start. Like, nerves coming in, like, we were playing to lose and not to win, something that King was, like, talking about in the last interview. And, like, at Mammoth, like, the organization was really behind us, the coaching staff, like, we've all, like, all the pieces are being put together, and, like, it's really good to see that we went 2-0 this weekend in pretty clean, like, both clean games.
Yeah, it certainly has been. So now, talk to me a little bit more about some of the specific choices you guys have made. As they were talking about on the couch, you know, you kind of continue to go towards this Rakan, this engage style. Is this, like, just always going to be the Mammoth style? Is this the only thing that you guys, like, think you need to do to win? Or do you have a lot more in your back pocket that you necessarily haven't had to show yet?
Like what Spawn was saying before, I'm definitely, like, known as, like, the engager. Like, I'm known for my Alistar and Rakan, and I think over the past 2 years, I've been trying to play everything. I think Mammoth, like, I just play whatever the team needs. I'm sort of like a facilitator. If I need to be dropped in draft, like, I'm willing to do it. I just want to do whatever will give us, like, the highest success of winning. And yeah, I think everyone is, like, open to doing that themselves as well. And yeah, no, I'm really enjoying playing with my team. Like, even though we lost, like, the early weeks, like, everyone was still like, even though we're all, like, superstar players and, like, good in our own right, like, everyone approached it the right way. And, like, myself included, I feel like we're all putting in 100% to play the best that we can. And yeah, I think that showed today on my Rakan.
Yeah, it's a good attitude, and I kind of like how you pointed that out. Is like, yeah, it is like a superstar team with, like, having these high expectations that have now kind of been tempered, but once again come back up. How has it been? Has there been, like, a bigger amount of pressure being on a team that was expected to win from the get-go?
Yeah, definitely there was, like, pressure, like, on ourselves. Like I said before, there was a little bit of nerves from everyone, but I think now we're really settling in, and, like, we're here to win the OPL. Like, we're not here to, like, have fun and, like, do that stuff, you know? So, as long as we keep doing what we're doing, I'm very confident that we can bounce back in the second and third parts of the split. And I'm really excited to rematch Bombers and Chiefs again. I feel like they're definitely like the two teams to beat right now, and I definitely want a rematch on Order because I don't want to lose to them.
Well, you're going to get that chance next week. You've got Order and Gravitas as well. You've already beaten Gravitas, but Order, you're going to be looking for some revenge. How are you feeling about that game going up next week?
We'll definitely have to prepare better. I think last time they definitely got the better of us, and yeah, next time we'll make sure we'll get the W.
Ooh, okay. Well, on that bombshell, back over to the couch.
It's Destiny.
It is.
It's Destiny.